All right, in this explainer, we're going to unlock a skill that can, no joke, change how you see the world and how you make decisions. And we're not talking about some stuffy academic idea here. We're talking about a practical tool for your everyday life, becoming a critical thinker.
I mean, let's be real. We are absolutely swimming in an ocean of information. You've got news alerts, social media, expert opinions, ads. They're all yelling for our attention, all trying to nudge our choices. It is just a really noisy world out there.
So, from what you choose to believe about a news story to how you tackle a problem at work, just think about your own day for a second. How do you possibly cut through all of that noise to make a choice that you actually feel good about? How do you know you're making the right call?
Well, the answer is by building a better mental toolkit. And the number one most essential tool in that whole kit, it's critical thinking. This is the process that lets you just step back, analyze stuff logically, and then make a judgment with real clarity and confidence.
Now, this is a really important point because people mix this up all the time. Being a critical thinker is not the same as being a cynic. A cynic, they're negative, they're distrustful, they're basically just ready to tear everything down. A critical thinker, though, that's different. They're inquisitive, they're open-minded, they respectfully question ideas, including their own, so they can build a better understanding.
And it all starts right here. This is the bedrock, the foundation, intellectual humility. It's really just the simple act of admitting you don't have all the answers. It's about being aware of your own biases and just staying genuinely open to different perspectives. Honestly, this humility is your best defense against believing things that just aren't true.
Okay, so let's get practical. How do we go from just knowing what critical thinking is to actually, doing it? Well, the key is to build a few powerful, conscious habits.
And here it is. This is that practical toolkit. These 5 core habits are what turn the idea of critical thinking into something you can actually use. So let's break them down one by one and see how they work.
First, we start by turning that foundation, intellectual humility, into an active habit. This means you're constantly reminding yourself, hey, there are limits to what I know. It's a simple practice, but it stops you from getting overconfident and makes sure you stay open to new information.
Okay, next up, you've got to actively challenge your own assumptions. It's so easy to spot the flaws in other people's arguments, right? The real work is turning that spotlight back on yourself. You have to ask, is this actually true, or do I just want it to be true? You've got to hold your own beliefs to that same high standard.
The third habit is all about grit, really. Critical thinking is hard work. The world is complicated, and real problems almost never have simple black and white answers. So the goal here is to fight that urge for an easy out and just keep wrestling with the problem, even when it starts to get frustrating.
Which leads us right to this. You have to build confidence in your own ability to reason. You have to trust yourself to think things through openly and honestly. Look, this is a skill, and just like any other skill, you get better with practice. Perfection is not the goal here. A well-reasoned, good enough solution? That's often a huge win.
So let's kind of put this all together. The goal is to be a critic, not a cynic, right? To be open-minded, but not empty-minded. It's all about practicing this new way of thinking, knowing your limits, and learning to be okay with a little bit of uncertainty. That right there, that's the mindset of a critical thinker.
All right, so that's the theory. But what does this actually feel like in the real world? Let's try a quick mental workout to see one of these skills, estimation, in action. Okay, here's a question for you. And just take a second, don't Google it. Could every single person on Earth fit inside the city limits of Riyadh? It just sounds impossible, doesn't it? This is a little something called guesstimating. And believe me, it is a fantastic workout for your critical thinking muscles. You know, this kind of thinking is so powerful because it builds a bridge between just raw data and that real-world gut feeling. It reminds me of that traditional Arabic proverb, ask the experienced, not the learned. Guesstimating forces you to mix what you already know with what you can reason your way through.
And the answer is a pretty surprising yes. It's true. The entire population of the world could stand inside the city limits of Riyadh. Now, look, the fact itself isn't really the point. The point is training your brain to challenge those initial assumptions and make reasonable judgments. That skill, that ability to get a quick sense of scale, is an absolutely invaluable tool for thinking on your feet.
Becoming a critical thinker isn't something that happens overnight. It's a lifelong practice. So the goal of this explainer wasn't just to throw ideas at you, but to give you a real, tangible starting point. The first step, though, that's yours to take. It's time to make these habits real.
So I'm going to leave you with a direct challenge. I want you to look at the world around you, look at your own beliefs, and just ask yourself, what is one assumption, just one, that I am going to challenge today? Because that single question, that is where this journey truly begins. Thanks for tuning in.